Everyday Girls' Day. At least that's how it was in the 2010s. But let's find out why that's not the case anymore. Now, Girls' Day was one of the many girl groups that came out in the 2010s. They actually had tens of millions of views on their music videos, and they sold millions digitally. Fast forward to January 2019, and the four ladies of Girls' Day all leave their label, Dream Tea Entertainment. The four ladies would all go their separate ways, signing with different agencies, but they're still a group. Nonetheless, it's quite a fall from where the girls used to be in the early to mid 2010s, which was one of the upper tier female groups in K-pop. So the question begs, what happened to Girls' Day? Well, we gotta rewind a bit to find out. Girls' Day debuted as a 5-person group back in July 2010, and they debuted with the song Tilt My Head on their first album, Girls' Day Party 1. This group would represent the third generation of female K-pop groups that were coming out during this time. Now, you'll hear me say this a lot, but Girls' Day debuted during the golden age of K-pop, and what a golden age it was. The golden age was roughly from 2009 to 2013. If you wanted to get exposure as a group, this was the time to do it, as K-pop was now exploding throughout Asia as well as overseas. Now, this group had some hype behind them because to some fans, they were known to be the next big group in this third generation. There was a lot of expectation, but unfortunately, the reality did not meet the expectation, as the group had a bumpy start just in 2010 alone. Two members, Jisun and Jiin, would leave the group, but they would tag team out for two members that we know today, Yura and Hyeri. As for the group's debut year in 2010, it definitely didn't meet those expectations, but you know what? That's actually a good thing, because the following year in 2011, they didn't have as much expectation as in 1 year earlier. So their label, Dream Tea Entertainment, is like, you know what? We gotta switch things up a bit. And that they did. They would go heavy on the cute and aegyo theme. And under composer Nam Gi-sang, he would slant their songs to that innocent theme that we'd see in 2011 and 2012. Now, their first song that year would be Twinkle Twinkle. And that was a catchy hit that would bring new fans to check out the group. The song would place 39th and would put Girls' Day on the K-pop map. From that song alone, Girls' Day would get more TV as well as radio time. But that's not all, because they would also release the song, my personal Girls' Day favorite, called Don't Forget Me. It's quite a banger. It has a catchy beat. It's not too cute or aegyo. It's kind of mature. It's just a great song to listen to. And I like Yura's raps in the song. She did a really good job of just letting it go. During this 2011 to 2012 era, Hug Me Once would also be a great hit, and it shows that Girls' Day was going up. But there was one hiccup where Jihae would leave the group, making Girls' Day the iconic four that we know today. While Jihae would leave the group in 2012, overall, that year was a strong year for the group. Now, expectations were slowly creeping up on the group once again, as they were starting to meet those expectations placed on them on 2010. They found their cute aegyo niche, and fans started resonating with them. But boy oh boy, 2013 and beyond, they would smash expectations, and heck, even have a song called Expectation, and they've hit their apex, their high point in their careers. Remember how I said they're doing the cute and aegyo theme? Well, now, time to go 180 and go to a sexy and sultry concept. From the suspender dance and Expectation, the sultry moves in Female President, which was based on former President Park Geun-hye, and the very sultry dance moves of Something, Girls' Day just went all out on that sexy theme. They weren't holding anything back. And these songs were some real bangers at the same time, just really catchy. I remember when I was living in Seoul during this time, I would hear a Girls' Day song just at least every hour when I was at a cafe or just walking around Seoul. Their songs would just be playing frequently on the airwaves. It's also during the 2013 and 2014 era that Girls' Day not just met their expectations of 2010, but pretty much exceeded them by all levels. I'd put Girls' Day as one of the top tier groups during this time, so the ladies would follow their awesome 2013 and 2014 with the 2015 banger, Ring My Bell. I like that song too, really catchy.
Ring my bell, 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 ring my bell,
And then nearly 2 years later, or about 20 months, they would release their last big hit, I'll Be Yours. Just to put this in perspective, just how dominant Girls' Day was from 2013 to 2017, each of their major songs had an average of about 10 million views. And back then, getting 10 million views was a big milestone to a K-pop group. Their biggest hits during this same span would each sell over 1 million digital copies. But none of us knew this at the time. 2017 would mark the last time Girls' Day would release a music album under Dream Team Entertainment. It felt like Girls' Day's spotlight has passed, that newer groups are coming out and the spotlight was being shined on them instead, which is quite unfortunate again, and just shows just how fast the K-pop world moves. And the big reason is that the girls had other things going on outside of their idol career. Because during late 2014, the girls started tasting success outside of the K-pop stage. The biggest name, of course, is Hyeri, who was introduced to a wider audience and a lot of the K-drama fans through the drama Reply 1988. She would later say, after the shooting of Reply 1988 was finished, that she was crying and that she would miss the cast as they all bonded like family. And from just Reply 1988 alone, I knew that if Hyeri really wanted to go into the acting world and just leave K-pop, that she could, that she already had her foot in the door.
And while there's been some that's criticized Hyeri and K-pop idols acting in dramas and movies, saying that their acting isn't so good, I have to give Hyeri credit for not only owning up to the critiques, but vowing to improve.
But Hyeri was just not known as just an up-and-coming actress. She was known as the Aegyo It Queen in Korea for a while. I mean, her face was plastered around in Amore Pacific as well as 7-Eleven. She was also on Nongshin Ramen, which increased the sales of the ramen company by 50%. They were calling this uptick in sales as the Hyeri effect, where she puts her face on something, it sells, it moves. Between her acting and advertisements, Hyeri is doing extremely well. As for Sojin, she would lend her voice to drama OSTs as well as acting in weekend dramas. Yura would be like the MC queen, emceeing for a variety of shows, as well as being on the drama Radio Romance. She would also do modeling in Europe and Korea. Mina would also find some big success in acting as well, like her bandmate Hyeri. Now after a peak, Girls' Day was on a lot of advertisements, over 20. They were representing brands like Nexon, Lotte World, and LG. They also peaked as high as number 13 on the Korea Power Celebrity, which is a reputable list that shows the most powerful politicians, athletes, musicians, and actors. But that's not all. A year later on that same list, the group would rank number 26, but Hyeri alone would rank number 3. And that's just really impressive. It's safe to say that Girls' Day was one of the top tier groups between 2013 and 2017. I have no doubt in my mind they were. Plus with the legit superstar in Hyeri, it was just impossible not to notice Girls' Day during their impressive, incredible run. And even as late as 2018, there was still hope that the girls would have a comeback, as Yura was hoping for one, telling fans and media that she expected a comeback soon. But unfortunately, her words did not come true, as by January 2019, all 4 girls would leave their original label of Dream Team Entertainment and would rebrand as actresses. 9 years is definitely a long time in the K-pop world. And if this is the end for Girls' Day, even though they say they're still a group, then it's a really great run. And speaking of groups that leave their label but still claim that they're still a group, we'll be talking about in a future video why group members from different labels never work. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 cases where it does work, but I'm saying right now, it pretty much almost never works. So if you guys like this video and want to be a smarter K-pop fan, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. And if you guys want real talk on K-pop and want to learn more, then please download my free ebook below. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.